Does the Pete and Sebastian Show need to embrace controversy more? Because in my opinion, yes. Recently, they said this when they had Dana White on.
We don't really do. We do this show. There's a lot of things we say. We go cut it out. There's no way that could go on the air just because we don't know. It might be funny, hysterical, but do we really want to deal with being on the news?
Yeah.
And for people like myself who are fans of Pete and Sebastian Show and watch every week, you'll know that it's very common for Pete to shout out, that might be an edit or that's an edit. But I think if they want to actually grow this podcast, and let's take a look at some of the numbers here in a second, they need to say things that are going to be clipped and people will clip them up and potentially will end up on the news, like Sebastian said in that clip with Dana White, or will be like some other YouTuber will comment and be like, oh, can you believe these two guys said this? It actually works in the YouTube world. You kind of need to say things that push it a little bit in order to create some like controversy or just some conversation about what you're saying. And then Pete and Sebastian have such a backlog of, in my opinion, great content. Like this is my favorite podcast. So you would find new viewers just by saying things that maybe are going to be misconstrued or someone will misunderstand what you're saying, get like fake outrage, even if it's fake outrage about it, clip it up, respond to it, and then you might get new eyes on the show and they'll be like, wow, the show's actually funny. And then you watch whatever, their catalog from before. They have all these great episodes. It just seems like, again, this might be wrong, but it's a thought or a theory. They've kind of pushed the limit or they've kind of reached their natural limit of just two comedians talking at each other back and forth because, like, I don't really care if they grow personally. I just hope they keep doing the show, but they have talked a lot recently about trying to grow their numbers.
That was it.
Listen, we cut these really abrupt.
Okay.
10 years, no money.
Improvements to the show, improvements to the studio. Like they have a studio in Sebastian's home, I think it is. Pete will come from where he lives and do more in-person shows. They have lots of guests on and stuff, but let's look at the numbers here. They really haven't moved the needle that much. So I'm looking now at the Pete and Sebastian playlist on Sebastian's YouTube channel, and I'm going to compare to kind of try to compare apples to apples. The episodes they do where it's just Pete and Sebastian talking back and forth, like they kind of have done throughout the history of their podcast, minus the last little bit where they have guests on. And you'll see here, this one from 7 days ago, 25,000 views, and that's the typical format. And YouTube videos generally get lots of their hits like in the first week or so, but we'll take a look at some other ones here. Like this one, for example, here, Pete and Sebastian Show. This is just the two of them together, 29,000 views 3 weeks ago. So then see some of these with guests have a little bit more. Like the Andy Garcia one has a little bit more, Dane Cook. But let's try to find another one with two people. So this one here, new logo, 36,000, and that was from 2 months ago. So it's not that much different. And we'll take a look here at some of the older videos before they really cared. Like, do you guys remember the video? I'll play it here actually because it's my favorite. This is my favorite episode I've ever seen of Pete doing the episode while he's supposed to actually be in the writer's room down the hall.
Macaroni and cheese. You know what I'm saying?
I gotta watch my volume, bro.
Well, could you just...
I'm still in the writer's room and I just walked out to do the cast. It's a bad situation. I mean, they're literally on the other side of the door. It's late night and it's still working. But, come on, man. I got to do the cast.
And now compare those new videos to some of their older ones, where this one from 4 years ago has 99,000 views. This one 4 years ago, 88,000 views. This one, 129,000 views. And these are a little bit more like shoestring budget. It's just them hopping on a mic, really, and being in two different locations. Like that one episode, Pete wasn't even, he was supposed to be in the writer's room, and he just like said he was going to talk to his accountant or something, but he just instead went to here to do the podcast. So it just seems like this podcast is great. I hope nothing really changes. That's not what I'm saying, but for them to grow, because they always say things like, lately they've been mentioning the money more. I've noticed Sebastian saying, we make no money, we make no money. Like they're trying to run more ads and stuff like that. But I do think that they need to stop editing things if they want to grow. Like probably Sebastian's doing a calculation in his head. This is just my guess, that the controversy might actually not be worth it for him because he has this humongous other career in TV, movies, and most importantly for him, it's the stand-up where he sells out arenas. But I do think, though, for the podcast, that it's at least plausible that they probably need that controversy to the occasional time get clipped up and go viral. Like one time I did hear Sebastian say that none of their clips had ever gone viral, and I don't remember any of their clips ever going viral. I think they definitely could, because again, this is what I think is the best podcast on the whole YouTube. This is my favorite podcast. It's the funniest. It's a great watch or listen every week. So I guess my point is just perhaps they need to kind of lean into the controversial stuff, but I mean, maybe not. They obviously get more views than I do, but that's my thought anyway. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.